And let's create one last folder. Sorry, one last group. And we're going to call this bottom text. And I'd like to drag this to the very bottom, or at least above background but to the bottom. And let's open it. There's nothing in it currently, so we're going to drag text, and I'm going to write Y. Let's change the color, and we're going to be using this same green. So if you highlight, let's go ahead and change it so you can see it. So if you have text highlighted, you can actually select the color option and then point anywhere on the page. So if I want the text to be blue, I can actually point it in here and the text will be blue. But we want it to be that same green that it already is. So let's use the Udemy top bar. We'll select this green. Now it's the right color. And let's finish the sentence. Create an account, question mark. And we're going to change the size because it's a lot smaller. If we look here, we can see that this is a lot smaller than the rest of the text, and then the terms of service are even smaller. So let's make this, let's see, it's 55 now. We'll make this about 45. And perfect. And I'm just going to grab my move tool and drag it down just a little bit. Perfect. And now we just have one more layer to add, and this is going to be our terms, capitalize, terms of service. And let's go ahead, highlight, and make this a light gray like it is in the actual app. And let's drag it over and then down a little bit and find just a decent light gray. That's a little dark. Drag it up. That looks pretty good. And let's grab our move tool so we can move the text around and perhaps center it a little bit. There. And that looks pretty dang close. So we can tell what everything we just created looks like by moving the layer, by opening up the layer that we first put in at the very top. So this is the actual image, and if you click it really quick, that's what you created. That's pretty amazing. So we can go ahead, take this top layer and just delete it. And what you just did is pretty amazing. You have every aspect of the entire registration screen that Udemy at one point designed. It's awesome. So you can go through, you can click stuff, you can change things. Let's go ahead and assume that Udemy wanted a branding change. They weren't going to have that green color. You could come up here, double click the background, go to cover overlay, and change this to blue. You could change the two buttons below to blue, and that's what Udemy would look like if they didn't have that green brand color. So I'll cancel. A lot of cool stuff. You just did something pretty amazing, and we're going to keep going off what you just learned and build some even cooler screens. Oops. Alright, and the last thing we need to do is to go ahead and save our file. And remember, we're going to save this as a JPEG and as a PSD. Before you do so, I recommend you organize your files